All right, so before we jump into the attachment system, I feel like it's worthwhile for me to tell you a few things about dependency, maybe clear the air on a couple of misconceptions. So, first thing, is dependency a bad thing? Is it a bad thing to depend on people? Well, you might think, no, Tim, it's not a bad thing to depend on people, come on. But conventional wisdom would say that if you are dependent upon people and the degree to which people can kind of throw you off your groove, that corresponds to a weaker or stronger identity. So conventional wisdom would say, do everything you can to find all the inner peace. If you notice yourself getting rocked and rolled by people, then, you might just need to work harder on being more self-reliant and blah, 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 blah. And it's kind of indirectly telling us to be as much of an island as we can in the storm of interpersonal relationships. Now, biology, it tells us a completely different story. And this is the story that biology is telling us. That we form attachments almost completely unconsciously, that when we form an attachment with somebody, that we literally form a physiological unit with them to the point where they regulate our hormones, they regulate our breathing, they regulate our heart rate, they regulate our mood. The list goes on. And study after study has shown this exact thing to be true. In fact, let's talk about what study. There was a study done with married women, and these women they received a mild electric shock, and then their hypothalamus was measured in an fMRI scan, just to see how much stress they were undergoing. So, in the first situation, the married woman received her electric shock, and her hypothalamus was measured, and there was a lot of activity. Second situation, the woman is shocked, but she's holding a stranger's hand, hypothalamus is measured, fMRI, less activity. Third situation, the woman is shocked, but she's holding her husband's hand or her spouse's hand. And the fMRI scan measures the hypothalamus, and what we see is this dramatic decrease in activity in the hypothalamus. So what's the moral of the story here? Well, the moral of the story is that forming dependencies are essential to our emotional well-being and our physiological health. And the deeper moral of the story is that being dependent upon people is paradoxical. The more that we're able to find people that we can depend on and form healthy attachments with, the more likely we are to become these self-reliant, independent people. And if you think about this from an attachment theory perspective, it totally makes sense. Kids that have form secure attachments with their parents will feel safe to go out into the world and come back and know that they're loved, and go out again and come back and know that they're loved. And if you go out and you keep forming positive reference experiences, then you start to feel that you're safe in the world and that you can stand on your own 2 feet. But at the core of that is the knowledge that if things were to go wrong, that there's somebody that will catch you. So if you want to be independent, find someone to depend on. Crazy. All right. Cool. So let's talk about attachment, the attachment system, in this next video coming up. Stay tuned. High five.